Hello, ladies and gentlemen, world famous Gen Z rockstar Connor Farrell here. Genius explaining whether the Hives are slop or not. And here, how we're going to do that. First, we're going to figure out what is slop. Then we're going to figure out how to detect slop. Then, how much of the Hives catalog is slop? Are the Hives even talented? And then finally, I'm going to tell you if you're going to think, based off of that whole analysis and everything you think about, whether you're going to say the Hives are slop or not, and why. So let's start with what is slop. We have here the music matrix. We have energy on this side, and we have catchiness along the bottom. You're going to see that this is kind of what people describe the genres as, right? And then for someone who's not a fan of the genre, if it's to the left of, or if it's to the right of this line up here at a 7 catchiness, if it's less than a 7 catchy, this is going to be considered slop by anyone who's not a fan of the genre. Okay. Or someone who just has a higher filter. And then if it's above this line, a 5 in energy, the high energy part, and it's catchy, it's not slop, and it's catchy, it's called rock. If it's high energy and catchy, it's called rock. If it's low energy and catchy, it's called pop. So it's either pop, rock, or slop, right? Now that we know what that is, energy is pretty easy to see. If a song is high energy, it gives people energy when they're working out. If it's low energy, it calms them down at night like jazz, right? Now, catchiness, that might be harder to think of. So how do we detect? Now that we know that slop is less than a 7 on catchiness, how do we detect when you're getting less than a 7 on catchiness? How do we detect when that is happening? Okay, so let's think about it. Now, you might say, well, there's many things that go into catchiness, determining if a song is catchy or not. And I would say that's true. I would also say we can figure out most of it and determine and detect if there's an extreme in either way when it comes to predictability. If something's completely incoherent, it's probably going to be in the slop zone. If something's completely corny, it's going to be totally in the slop zone. If something's in the sweet spot, it can be a hit quality song. It can be a smash hit quality song. It could be a medium quality for fans probably of that genre or that band, or it can be total slop to everyone regardless. And so this is our biggest predictor is predictability, gives us our biggest guideline for detecting if things are slop. And then from there, it's subjective, kind of looking at what people like. And so now that we know what slop is, less than 7 on catchiness, probably about here, right? And then we also know how to find it, which is predictability is the biggest way to detect whether slop is occurring or slop is not occurring is that predictability average, right? So if you look at a band like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, they're somehow both completely incoherent and boringly corny. That is mixed in terms of predictability, but also not good. So that's an example. Something like Welcome to the Jungle. Welcome to the jungle. We've got fun and games. That has it's a medium in terms of it's in the sweet spot for predictability, and it's also really good. And it's a smash hit, and you can see why. Now, we're going to look at the Hives. We're going to look at different ratios. How much of the Hives is slop and how much is not. Now, if we look here, you've got one-hit wonders, which some people who just know, had to say I told you so, all right. Come on. Tick, 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 boom. Yeah, I was right, you were wrong. Well, I have done it before, and I will do it some more. I got it out on the floor. I'm gonna cut you to the floor. Hey, it ain't. It's too soon. It's too late. It's too soon. I mean, it's tick, 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 tick. A boo! La 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 la. Ah, it's so good. Woo! Yeah. You were right. I was wrong. Well, I have done it before. Oh, it's I did an idiot walk. And that I'm gonna spend it. Oh my God. 2 time and down and broken bone. 2 time and touching bone and bones. Oh my God. What else right? I'm gonna die alright. Oh my God. I'm gonna calm myself down. But so some people might just know 2 songs from the Hives, and they would go, they're one-hit wonders. They haven't listened to the catalog. That's why they say that. They don't know. They're ignorant. They're ignorant, y'all. They're ignorant. They don't understand. They haven't listened to it. Some people might say hit or quits. Maybe you could. They have a lot of hits. The songs are either really good quality or duds. I would say there's probably more medium, kind of like a flat distribution of hits, B-sides, and duds. You know, for people who are ignorant of a band's catalog, see, I thought David Bowie was a one-hit wonder. Then I realized he's a less than 50-50. David Bowie actually has a ton of hits, but I've also listened to like almost every album, and almost all of it's complete slop. And so someone like David Bowie, Limp Bizkit, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, these people are going to be controversial because of their distribution, right? So depending on what you think, you know what I mean? It's going to be very disputed. These ones, these for only fans like Frank Zappa, Motorhead, Slayer, if you like what they're doing, you like the thing, you're a fan of the thing, you've bought into it, you're in, you don't need to be convinced, you're going to get a lot of mileage out of their catalog, right? But you're not going to gain a lot of people, and you're not going to, but there's also not a lot of slop, which is good. Now, this is a classic catalog. This is When You Wake Up in the Morning, Arctic Monkeys, Metallica, The Beatles, Daft Punk, Rage Against the Machine, things that look like this where it's almost entirely hits and B-sides. So I would say, I don't know, I put the Hives, I like something like this, something like that, something like that. They're not for fans. They have a lot of stuff that's really good, accessible. They're probably not like this. They're probably more like this. But honestly, I'm not super certain, right, on the Hives. So I would probably hedge my bet and go with a flat catalog. I honestly don't remember all of the songs the last time I listened through all of the albums. I just remember mostly the top 10 that I like. So on the catalog I'm drawing right now, I'm drawing a 50-50 kind of a flat distribution. So far I'm thinking people are going to be split on if they think the Hives are slop or not, just based off of the distribution. And so now we move on to the next thing. Now that we know what is slop, slop is less than 7 catchiness, we know how to detect slop when the predictability is either too extreme, extremely predictable, or extremely unpredictable. And then we know the distribution for the Hives is probably looking like a good bit of hits, a good bit of stuff that's awesome for fans, and maybe some stuff that people just skip every time they're listening to. Maybe it's little filler songs on the record to stretch the thing out to get, the whole record deal. Now, we look at the brand of the Hives. This is where we look at if you just care about branding and how cool the logo is, and you're going to talk yourself into liking a band just because the shirts are cool. The Hives, they knock it out of the park. They get a green right there from me. Green means good, yellow means okay, red means bad. So they get a green on branding. That's one of the 3 major quadrants. Are they virtuosos? Are they super, aesthetic and have their own style? Honestly, I would say I think they kind of do to a certain extent. Most people would disagree with that, though. So just to play it safe, I'm going to put a yellow here. But for me, I'm going to put the Vibes. But I'm super biased because I like the difference. I know that I like the vibe. I said the Vibes. The Vibes. I do like the Vibes. I thought I almost combined the Hives and the Vines. I might talk about the Vines later. I think the Hives have a little more consistent record discography and maybe some more hit quality songs than the Vines. But this is not to dunk on the Vines, okay? I like the Vines. The Vines are good, okay? No, songwriting, they're real good on that. Live show, incredible. Lyrics, pretty great. Riffs are great. Tones are great. Chords, not particularly memorable, but I'm going to give them a green. I put a yellow on musicianship, but I think for these reasons, since now we're getting to the final end, I'm going to tell you what you think and what I think. I'm going to say when it comes to songwriting, they get a check mark for being talented. For brand, they get a good check mark. For musicianship, honestly, I might need to be a little more strict on this one. I think it's going to be, do people think they're virtuosos? Because the real interesting one is when you see a band where everyone's a virtuoso, like Rush, but their catalog is lopsided, right? Rush has like 10 incredible songs and then like 20,000 really bad songs. They fit with David Bowie. I love Rush. They're really great, but only like 10 songs. So the people, this is the reason I bring it up, the people who just care about the virtuosity and the brand, even if the songwriting is inconsistent, they're going to say Rush is amazing. How dare you, right? So this is how I'm going to be able to predict what you're going to think is based off of what talents you care about, what catalog, if you care about the distribution, if you just care about hits. And so I'm going to say the Hives are going to have medium controversy because they have a pretty kind of even catalog distribution from my cursory knowledge. And then they've got talents. They're talented in two things. But if you care about virtuosity and you're someone who's like, oh, I need to learn guitar exercise shredding songs, these guys suck. Yeah, sure, good for you. But you're not going to like them then. And so I picked my top 10 songs. Most people just think of the top 10 songs and they go, are those good? Are those rock? Are those pop? Are those slop? Right? So for Limp Bizkit, they might have 5 songs, 6 songs that are really, I think, like good, like, 7, 8 catchiness, and then like 8 to 6 energy, maybe 9, right? But then the other 4 in that average of the top 10 pulls it down in terms of like quality and pulls it over here. So it pulls Limp Bizkit into this zone where if you don't like punk and metal, you call them slop because they've got songs lower in catchiness that pull their average of the top 10. Most people, I think of the top 10 for the Hives. I'm going to give you my top 10. I say, I had to say I told you so, all right. I said a tick, 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 boom. I said an idiot walk. And then, I'm gonna bend it. Video. Main offender. And then, 2 time and touching broken bones. 2 time and touching broken bones. I'm gonna die all right. It won't be long. What is it? Enough is enough. Enough is enough is enough. Oh my God, that's a newer one, and that's really good. Try It Again, Outsmarted. See, this is where it's like lowering the hit quality in terms of, I still think they're really good. This is where I kind of go like, maybe there's stuff where I'm a fan. I have a little bit of rose-tinted glasses. But even if you say these are 5s in terms of catchiness, the average is still going to be in this zone, right, is what I'm thinking. So let's look. We got a 7.6 in terms of energy. So they're kind of upper energy in terms of kind of like punk bands, which is exactly what I think I would expect for the Hives. And then, so people are going to probably call them, kind of like punky. And then they have an 8.6 in terms of average catchiness from the top 10 songs. So most people would call them a punk. And then when you go across the slop line, people add the word rock. So kind of punk rock, punky, maybe they wouldn't just say punk band. But that's what I'm going to put in here. You also, when you go up in terms of energy, you also add it too, right? So you could add indie punk. Usually you don't inherit more than 2, but like if you're, Pantera, people would say, oh, it's like blues country here and some punk elements and some metal elements, right? As you go up, you add things, right? And so when you go from pop or when you go over and up, right, things kind of mix and add like that. So, well, the Hives, they're kind of like indie punk, but then they go pop and like rock. And so people would say something around here probably for the Hives. They could say pop, they go poppier or punkier, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, so I'm going to think if you care about virtuoso musicianship, you're going to call them slop. You're going to call them punk slop. If you care about, let's see here, if you care about the songwriting, you're probably going to say, they have a couple good songs, but maybe I think a lot of that, maybe on average they're slop. But if I'm looking at just like the top third, they're a great rock band, right? A great punky-ish rock band. And then if you just care about, the hits, you're going to be like, they're a great rock band. If you just care about, you're going to say they're a great rock band. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Woo! I did it. I wanted to film a bunch of videos today. This is the last one I did today. Yeah! Woo! Let me know how it's going. If you're a Latina, once again, hit me up. Latina, I'm in Austin, Texas. If you're a Latina and you're passing through, hit your boy up. There we go. There we go. Fred and Scooby-Doo, he says, I can bench 220. Hint, Latinas, I can bench more than 220. There we go. Okay. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. If you think this is great, send it to the Hives. No, but if you agree, disagree, let me know in the comments below. Do you think this is a good way of predicting if you think it's slop or not? Is it freaking slop, Connor? I don't know. What's Connor going to do now? Is he going to go to the gym? Does he have time to go to the gym? He wants to go on the treadmill because he's eating like a friggin' stallion. He's eating almost 3,000 calories a day. I'm eating 2,900. You made it to the end of the video. I can talk to you now. I get done with all my videos I need to get done today. So I wanted to talk to you for a second. 2,900 calories right now in my maintenance. And so that means I need to crack my back. Oh, my heck. Heckin' Lord, I'm going to crack my back. 2,900 calories. I'm like 5'7". But I'm like 155. right now, if I diet and I lose, water weight once I'm depleting from carbs, in a week I'd be like 151, even if I didn't lose any muscle, or fat. I would just like flatten. But because right now you got the fullness of the muscles, you got the carbohydrate, you got the fullness of the muscle, you got the arm, you got the arm, you got the real bicep, you got the real deltoid, you got the lat pull down with 240. I did a lat pull down with like 240. I think it was 270. I don't know, maybe it was 240. But I was like, bro, that's elite strength. It's 1.5 body weight pull down. And then my rows were BS, and I had to work on my rows to get them up. Anyways, I'm eating a ton of calories, is what I'm saying, and I kind of want to go to the gym to burn off, because I was basing it off the fact that I do like 300 to 400 calories worth of cardio most days. Anyways, tell me what you think of the video. You like, comment, subscribe. If you comment, I'm gonna, I don't know, something. Thanks for watching. Anyways, daily videos. We're gonna see if we can make it to next June daily video. Boom, boom. Outro is my band. Go check it out. Comments if you like it.